Hello everyone. Now in my nostalgia train, we are going even further away in time into my Italian aromatics, and we will be talking about Laura Biagiotti's Uomo, which, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, I remember this. I remember smelling this, and its flanker, which was Acqua di Roma. And this was again, the beautifully unattainable fragrance that I always, sort of wanted, but never knew if this was for me. And just like with Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme, it wasn't the fragrance, it was me. Grew out of that, and now they are for me. Definitely. So Laura Biagiotti Roma comes from the same, so we are now in 1992, so a bit further away in time, quite far away in time, and this is, ooh, again, it's part of that ballpark of fragrances which is they are very difficult for me to describe and difficult for me to comprehend, but I feel that from all of them, Roma, I think it's the most closest to me, to my idea of making these type of fragrances, and this might be because this was done by Annick Menardo, and this started another, oh my god, it started an Annick Menardo trend. You'll see next video why. Yeah, it started an Annick Menardo trend. I love her work. I love how she does benzoin. It's, Annick Menardo. And this, Laura Biagiotti Roma, is benzoin. Yeah, so on top of it being citrus, very, very citrus actually, very lemony grapefruit sort of citrus scent, and just as in Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme, the citrus quality runs through the fragrance and it stays even in the dry stages, and this is why they are so, I guess, so typically Mediterranean and Italian. This one is called Roma, for crying out loud. This is the most Italian thing I've ever smelled. Well, surely I'm exaggerating just a bit, but it is a very, very, in that very beautiful way of doing fresh scents, which is also strange because this happens to be an amber. So beside it being citrus, aromatic, because you've got hints of juniper and basil. Not that they're extremely overt. I have to look on the notes for me to pull them apart because my nose cannot. This is so well blended, and the whole is so as I said, it's mysterious. It's difficult for my nose to fathom. There are also those familiar orange blossom notes at the top that kind of, I think this is the theme, right? The contrast of the orange blossom with the amber, right? This reminds me quite well of Gautier to the power of 2. Am I insane? I hope not. There's also this milky quality, and I'm including Versace Dreamer in this. This is a fragrance, Versace Dreamer, that I don't have it. I don't know why. I guess it's not its time. Maybe I will purchase it at some point, maybe not. But I think as I said, from most of them, Roma is the most complex, and it's the most, I don't know, maybe it's the most exquisite because it has all these elements to it. It's almost a chypre, this one, because it's earthy. That contrast is almost metallic in its form, and that benzoin is here. It's very obvious, the benzoin. It's the benzoin where the medicinal thing comes from. It's the benzoin in here because it's that sort of resinous, pungent. I'm trying to describe benzoin, but benzoin is pretty difficult to describe if you haven't smelled the raw material. And this Roma, I think it's the best fragrance for somebody who wants to isolate benzoin in its dry stage, not its caramel sweet stage, like in Bois d'Arménie, which is also an Annick Menardo, very, very benzoin scent. But there it's mostly about an amber. This is slightly ambery, slightly vanillic. Everything is subdued. Everything is dry and fresh and Mediterranean and so beautifully done. Beautiful scent, this one. So again, the benzoin in this this aroma is sort of like a study on benzoin, because as of now my brain cannot focus on anything else other than the benzoin. And as I said, it's dry, resinous, a bit camphorous. Well, actually quite camphorous because it's very fresh, a bit vegetal, and the citrus notes complement it so well because again they form this sort of almost chypre-like contrast, which is beautiful. This was launched as a male marketed fragrance, and this means nothing. I could see maybe in Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme the more masculine elements, with the tobacco, even though even in here the orange blossom makes such a beautiful contrast that it's, could be worn by anybody. In Altamir as well, you could see this being very, very unisex. This marketing towards men is a bit silly, and it culminated in Gautier to the power of 2, which is, just flat out unisex. But this Roma Uomo this could be worn by anybody, and I do recommend it be worn by anybody, really, because it's such an underrated scent. I don't think I've ever has anybody spoken about this. Well, surely anybody has spoken. I don't know all the internet reviews, but I haven't seen it lately. It's not a hyped fragrance. I don't think anybody speaks of this, right? Which is a shame because it's such a beautiful scent. And yes, I know I cheaped out and got the tester, which doesn't have the cap. I don't care. This comes in 125 milliliters, and I think 75, and I think 40 maybe. And it was so cheap. It was 20 euros, this tester. I got it from a grey market site. Oh my goodness, such a beautiful scent. And again, that mystery surrounding this fragrance. What does this smell like? Because benzoin isn't something that, I'm not familiar with benzoin in my day-to-day life. I don't smell benzoin in my day-to-day. I do have a bit of benzoin in my cupboard. I got it as a fragrance ingredient, and I know what it smells like, and it smells exactly like this. Well, done in a fragrance. Okay, so I think this is enough. If you've got any other questions about this fragrance, do let me know. We need to talk about the beautiful bottle. This is one of the most beautiful bottles I've ever seen in a fragrance, and it's so aptly, the design of the bottle is so appropriate for this fragrance, because Roma, and I think this is inspired by the columns of maybe something like the Pantheon. But it's wonderfully abstracted in a perfume bottle design. So yeah, if you've got any other questions, let me know. And until next time, remember, fragrance creates memories, and may yours be happy.